All right, howdy 1980 sports cards. This is Rob Lay, and we have another PSA grade reveal. Earlier this year, we opened 3 1985 Donruss Leaf boxes, and after pre-grading them, I sent in 31 cards to get graded, and now we have all 31 cards to reveal. So the cost on those 3 boxes was a pretty good deal. They were not BBCE certified, but I paid $285 each, which is $855. That's quite a bit below market, and they turned out to have a really good hit rate with the big cards in the 85 Donruss set, and they were in good condition, so I could tell they had not been tampered with, so that was a good thing. And then if you consider I got 31 cards that made the cut to be graded, that is a PSA cost of around $600. So I'll put the exact amount up in the top right corner, but we start with $855 for the cost of the 3 boxes. We subtract $620 for the cost of PSA grading, and then we're gonna hopefully work down from there and see if we broke even or not. So we're gonna start with the least valuable cards and go from there. And it's really hard to get exact market values on the 85 Leaf, especially from some of the second and third tier cards. There's just not a liquid market on them, so we're gonna do the best we can. And as always, the 1980s cards, we're not expecting any PSA 10s. PSA just doesn't hand them out anymore. So overall, we're gonna be looking for a few 9s and mostly 8s and 7s. So let's get started. Have here the 1985 Leaf Don Mattingly, the Diamond Kings version, which I believe we've got 4 of these to look at here. So actually 5. So this is the first one we're looking at, PSA 8, not bad. Number 2, same card, and a 7, so 1 less. Number 3, and we got a 9, so we upgraded on that one. We've got 2 more of the Don Mattingly Diamond Kings, and unfortunately a 7. And ended off with a 6, so pretty bad on that one. So out of the 5 Don Mattingly Diamond Kings, we only had 1 9 and 1 8. Now we're looking at the Tony Gwynn Diamond Kings, and we actually have 3 of these to look at. So again, not a high valued card, but we'll see what we got here. All right, we got an 8 on the first one. Next one. Got a 7, unfortunately. And as you know, the 85 Donruss and especially the Leaf with the black borders, you know, they're very sensitive to condition. That's why the higher graded ones have such a low pop and get a little bit higher values. So it's hard to grade 1980s, and it's even that much harder to grade the 85 Donruss and Leafs. So here's the next one, a 7 on the Tony Gwynn. That's it for the Tony Gwynns. Now we've got the Wade Boggs, his regular card. Let's see how many of those we have here. We only have 2 of them, but we're starting getting some nicer cards here. Let's hopefully get nice grades. There we go. We got a 9 in the Wade Boggs Leaf. That's a gorgeous card. Can't help to wonder if that 9 would have been a 10 if I just graded it 5 to 10 years ago before they got strict on the 80s cards, and actually all cards. There's the next one. We've got an 8. All right, let's move into the George Brett, which growing up in Kansas and a Royals fan, I was a big fan of the George Brett. I actually have his rookie card up in my personal collection, but we've got 4 of these to go through. And we got an 8 to start. Got another 8. There we go. We got a 9. And coming to the 4th and the last George Brett. Got an 8. So George Brett did a little bit better, 3 8s and 1 9. Now we're starting to get into some a little bit higher valued cards. We have 2 of the regular Darryl Strawberries. First one up, there we go, a 9. Love to see that. Uh-oh, got a 5, so missed something here, and it's got really good centering. I don't see any obvious edge or corner issues, so it must have been something on the back or a crease that I did not see in the pre-grading. Okay, now the Pete Rose, got 4 of these, and they can be a nice valued card. And a PSA 10, they can be $600 or even $100 in a PSA 9. So let's see if we get any 9s here. First one up, we get a 7. Second one up, we get an 8. Come on, let's try to get at least one 9. We can do it. Let's get one 9. Nope, another 8. Got one more chance at the Pete Rose to get a 9. Nope, another 8. So we got 3 8s in the Pete Rose. Now we're getting down to the most valuable cards in the set. First off with the Nolan Ryan, $1,000 in a PSA 10, $50 to $100 in a PSA 9. PSA 7, unfortunately. Second Nolan Ryan. There we go. We've got the 1985 Leaf Nolan Ryan, number 216 in a PSA 9. Got to be happy about that. Love it. Okay, now we got the Dwight Gooden, which is his rookie card. Highly sought after, collecting these cards in the 80s. And I've actually got 4 of these. So let's see what we can get here. $1,200 in a PSA 10. The 9 again will be in the $40 to $80 range. PSA 8. PSA 8. PSA 8. Come on, let's break the 8s. Let's get a 9. We broke the 8s, but the wrong way. 7. And we got one more in the Dwight Gooden rookie. Oh, sorry. I only had 4 Dwight Goodens. So the next one is the Roger Clemens, which is a really big card in the set. Can be $6,800, $7,000 in a PSA 10, and well over $100 even in a PSA 9. So we've got 3 of these to look at. PSA 8. PSA 7. One more for the Roger Clemens. PSA 8. All right, we're down to 2 cards, and that, of course, will be the Kirby Puckett rookie, number 107. This can be a $9,000 card, getting close to that 5-digit mark for the PSA 10, and over $100 for even a PSA 9. So let's hope we get a 9 at least. Nope, got a 7. Got one more card in the set. PSA 8. So there's our stack of 9s right there, 5 of them. A fat stack of 8s, which is what most of them came in at. That's about 13 cards, 14 cards. Fat stack of 7s, and not too bad. I'm getting better at the pre-grading. Only 2 that were best. So I'll have to look at those closer to see what I missed. But overall, that was a pre-grading. Hope you enjoyed it. And there in the top right corner, I'll subtract 20% for a seller's fee as well, and see how close we came in the final number to break it even. All right, take care.